Welcome back to the IROC Business with Confidence podcast, your go-to resource for monetizing your passions while keeping your budget in mind. I'm your host, Corey Von Foster, transformational speaker, certified business coach, trainer, and CEO of IROC Marketable Business Solutions. In today's episode, we have an amazing guest joining us. Please welcome Simone Moreau, a marketing coach specializing in helping ambitious coaches and consultants book more sales calls and attract their ideal clients with a marketing message and customer experience that elicits a resounding hell yes from prospects. Simone approaches to marketing combines mindset and strategy, creating a perfect blend of 50% mindset, 50% strategy, and 100% fun. With her extensive background as a tenured marketing professor teaching graduate studies, marketing, and digital marketing strategy, Simone brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise to her coaching practice. With over 18 years of experience in digital marketing strategy and having served as a head of marketing for a tech firm, driving brand, leads, and customer experience, her love for marketing shines through her work. She has successfully transformed her expertise, passion, and experience into a fully booked coaching business. Simone's mission is to change the way we approach marketing and business building. She firmly believes that marketing can be fun, easy, and simple, and that we don't have to burn out and hustle to build our business while balancing life. Her coaching empowers clients to create a sustainable business while having clients eagerly say hell yes to their offers. In today's episode, we'll dive into the topic of market messaging and customer experience, discover the secrets to crafting a compelling marketing message, and delivering a remarkable customer experience that attracts and delights your ideal clients. Simone will share her insights and strategies to help you build a business that is both sustainable and enjoyable. Hello, guys. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm super excited today because we are going to talk about a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and that is marketing. And I love that we're going to be talking about that marketing can absolutely, positively be fun. And to kind of help us get through this conversation, I have a marketing expert here with us today, and that's my new friend, Simone Moreau. And she will be talking to us about how marketing can definitely be fun, it's definitely doable, and we can also say it can also be affordable. So let me bring her in. Welcome to the podcast.
Yay! Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited. People know I get giddy about marketing. And so to have someone here that really focuses on the small business owner's journey through marketing and helping with, those kind of processes and thinking through that situation, I think we're going to have a really fun talk. And I talked a little bit before this. I was like, I hope we get it all. Like I got a lot of things. I want to talk about.
So many things. Yes, exactly.
But before we dive in too much, can you kind of reintroduce yourself? Let them know a little bit of who you are and who do you serve?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hi, everyone. I'm Simone Moreau. I am the marketing coach for ambitious coaches and consultants who want to book more sales calls and have their best clients coming to them already a hell of a yes. And I always say that this level of marketing is 50% mind work, 50% strategy, and 100% fun. And so a little bit about me, I am a tenured marketing professor. I teach graduate students marketing and digital marketing strategies. And I also have 18 years of digital marketing strategy experience where I headed up the marketing teams for a lot of small to medium-sized businesses and tech businesses looking to drive their customer experience and their acquisition needs. So I absolutely love marketing. And I believe it's really the best part about building your business. And that is really part of my mission is to help, those solopreneurs who want to get rid of marketing and ditch it because they feel like it's so overwhelming, to really show them a simple and easy way to actually market their business, make soulful connections, and bring in their clients and have a ton of fun in the process. So I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So I think we'll dive in at the beginning. This is the beginning because I think this is the part people struggle the most on, in my opinion. And this is niching down. They are excited about, I'm gonna post on social media, or I'm gonna send an email and all these things, but they are not clear on who they want to serve. So let's talk a little bit about what is the things that a small business owner should think about when it relates to who their target audience is.
Oh, I love that you're bringing this up first because you're right. I feel like that's where a lot of like indecision and confusion can start is like, who are my people, right? But I love to frame it this way. And I think about it like marketing is just like having a conversation with somebody. So if you're having a conversation with somebody, you need to know who you're talking to, right? Like you're not going to be talking about, baseball if the person has never known about baseball ever in their life, right? So we do need to know who we're talking to and we want to identify our best clients. And I think that it can be so simple when we really start to take away some of that fluff. So we want to start thinking about who is it that we want to connect with and who do we actually want to work with. And I think what gets really confusing is everyone starts to go into, well, what does my niche need to look like? Or what does my ideal client need to look like? Who do I want to work with? And we start thinking about, well, does that person like coffee or not coffee? But I want everyone to start to reframe that in a slightly different way and start to think about like, what are your top 3 characteristics of the best client you want to work with? Like, who is the person that would be, that you would be able to work with the easiest? Like, what are their characteristics that they're bringing? Because the more clear you are on that, the easier it is for you to actually set up the rest of your business because we absolutely have to build our business around our clients first and we versus the other way around.
Yeah, I agree. Something that I feel like I'm always talking to my clients and saying is like pretend you're selling just to one person. So when you are thinking about the different types of marketing you want to do, like have one person in mind and give it a name. I always tell people my little client avatar's name is Dakota and I know her like the back of my hand. And so anytime I'm making a new product or service, anytime I'm thinking about my marketing, I'm having Dakota in mind because I think people, like you said, kind of get overwhelmed, right? Because they're like, well, anybody can buy this product. It's like true, but if we go and try to market to everyone, we're really marketing to no one.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of the takeaway. So once we get an idea, a very specific and clear idea of who we want to serve, how does that play into messaging?
Yeah.
How does that
Oh,
relate?
yeah, so important. So once we know who we're marketing to, then it's a lot easier for us to actually communicate the value of what we do. So I actually feel like there's one other step almost in between the messaging and that's like designing your offer.
Oh yes.
Because a lot of times where I find like there's a disconnect in how we communicate the value is because when you're first starting out, you're not sure yourself on actually the offer or the solution you're offering your clients. So I always really say like the what we're doing, the most clarity you're going to get in terms of, your messaging or in your marketing is by solving your best client's biggest problem. When you're really clear on the problem you're solving, that and what the solution is to that, and how you package that, that is exactly how you're going to be able to describe the value of it. So we want to really get really clear on the who, and then we want to get really clear on the product or the service or the offer that you are offering that's going to solve the problem. And then from there, it makes it so much easier for us to jump into the messaging and get clear on solving our best clients' problems and communicating and articulating that value. And I find when we don't have those 3 things in place, that's when I find there's a lot of confusion because we're sort of jumping from A to get to C, but we haven't done B yet. And so I find people get really confused in the process. So I really love when my clients can get really clear on what their offer is and really identifying their clients' biggest problems.
I love this. I think people they're so excited about what they offer that they're not leading with the solution. Like, this is the problem, this is the solve. They will go and tell you how many things are included in the product. They're like, yeah, this comes with this, and this. And it's like, cool. But as the person consuming it, I don't know what this all does. I'm glad I get a portal and I'm glad I get a book and a worksheet and all this stuff and a course and one-on-one. But at the end of the day, is it going to solve my problem? And so when you lead, like you said, from a place of, hey, I want to solve this big main problem, this headache, this challenge that my target audience is having, then you can tell somebody, hey, I can solve this. And now they're like, okay, tell me more. Tell me more because I want this.
Exactly.
And then you're not really selling.
Yeah, exactly. You're just kind of sharing this information. And I feel like when you're able to articulate that, it makes life so much easier, right? Because a lot of times I get my clients come to me, and you probably are the same, right? Where they're like, oh, selling, marketing, oh, that feels icky. Like it feels unaligned, right? Ew.
Yes.
And the only reason it feels like that is because they're still unclear of the problem that they're solving. Because the truth is, we buy as consumers, right? Because we have a problem. Like I want a better relationship, so maybe I'm going to hire a marriage coach, or I want to streamline my email marketing to make it so much easier for me, so maybe I'm going to hire someone to do that for me. But I'm hiring people to help me with a problem that I have because I want to solve it. And that's what we're talking about when we really get into the client's problem and the solution is like, what are they wishing is different, right? What's bothering them that they want the solution to, and they may want to be where you are. So in terms of articulating that, it makes it so much easier for you.
Yeah, and you mentioned that icky feeling they get when they're doing sales. I always say, I know you're not a used car salesman, but we got to get it done. But that also brings to another point, and I think, and I wasn't even on my list of things to talk about, but because you talked about a little bit of, how the sales would go, I think a lot of people get hung up in objections. They take any
Mm.
objection and they just drop the ball. Somebody says no, or they give them any kind of pushback, and they're like, okay, have a great day. Thank you. So how can, especially a newer business owner, how can they
Yeah.
confidently sell and kind of get over some of those common sales objections?
Yeah, I love that you're saying that. And I think you're totally correct, right? I know, especially when I was first starting out, someone would have an objection. I'd be like, oh, no, of course. Yes, absolutely. Hands off. But the truth is that objections are just a normal part of business. If we just take out everything, we give it a really simple example. For instance, if I was going into a furniture store because I wanted a new couch, I'm probably going to ask a lot of questions about the couch. I know I'm in the market for a couch. I want to buy a couch, but I'm not sure the material. I have kids and a dog. Like, I want to make sure the material is durable. Like, is it well made? Like, these are questions that I have. And often objections are sometimes also just questions that people have that are not answered yet. So if we are able to reframe objections just as questions because someone's curious and they just want to get as much information as possible, we can then start to approach that from a place of curiosity instead of a place of it being like, they're a no, they don't want to work with us. Like, we can start to be more curious about the client and what they're asking us, and we're able to help meet them where they are and actually answer their questions. And I think that lens is everything when you're in the sales process, is being curious about those clients of yours.
Yes, I totally agree. So let's backtrack a little bit because we've got them in the sales call, but somebody's like, I can't even get a sales call. Like, hold on, how did we even get there? So let's back up just a little bit. In your opinion, because let me actually back up even further. I love lead magnets. Let's talk about that.
Mm,
I love lead
yeah.
magnets. And I think they're a great tool, especially for service based entrepreneurs, to get people some value, get their buy in ahead, get that know, like, and trust before they go into your
Mhm.
true, like, well, that's part of your sales process, but before they get into the call. So, what is your opinion on some effective lead magnets that are affordable that you think can really help kind of bridge the gap from a cold lead to a warm lead that's kind of ready to buy?
Yeah, I love that you're mentioning that because I agree, right? We want to be able to showcase what we can offer our clients or our potential clients. And the truth is, I know in terms of my own buying behavior, I love just kind of getting to know people and seeing what they have to offer and do their philosophies align with mine. And so that's a great opportunity. I think the most like there's a couple different ways to do it that are really simple, but you can just start with a great simple like PDF example where you are, creating like a three-step process, or you're helping them with some teaching and some learnings. That can also be a video. You can also offer in a video. And one thing that I really stress with my clients is like honing in on their strengths. So some of my clients really feel like their strengths are, um, writing really great copy. And I'm like, great, like let's create something that really aligns with your strengths. Other people love to talk. So why don't we just create a video that really aligns with the strengths of who you are so you can showcase that talent and who you are more in what you're doing. So I think that, just doing something as simple as like a 3-step process or a video that can start that is really easy. Then after you've done that, you can kind of progress and maybe get into like a 5-day challenge. And then you can get into, more webinars and you can keep building up. But if you are just starting out, just start there and start to promote it everywhere. And I think that becomes the biggest learning is how do you start to talk about it and share it with everybody?
I love that. And I think two things I kind of pull from that. One is like giving the value, right? I had
Mhm.
people who would be like, oh, I made a lead magnet and it's just some like throwaway Google Doc. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, did you solve any problem? Did you give anybody even a little win to make
Mhm.
them more excited to work with you? And then the second thing is the idea of kind of keeping them in your community, right? You're not just saying something to them once. And I think that we have to get out of this idea that once you attract a lead, if they don't go straight to a sale, then they're a lost lead. It's like, no, nurture that
Mhm.
lead, get
Yeah.
make them feel like family, that type of thing. And so I think that that's also something that a lot of small business owners are missing, the idea of like, hey, join our private Facebook community, join our newsletter. I give out all this other stuff, buy the book,
Yep.
these smaller things, because then they get to consume more of what you do. It's so much easier to keep a lead than it is to attract a new one, right? And I think
Mhm.
it's nice when you have those ride or dies in your community that can then even talk about their experiences with you. And so I think that when you think about your lead strategy, you think about your marketing, what kind of community are you cultivating? You know what
Oh,
I
love
mean?
that. Yeah, I love that. And you know what? You said something, you're like, it takes more we don't realize that it takes not only more money sometimes, but more energy to
Yes.
attract that client to you. Right? It's like it's proven that it's 3 times more. You put 3 times more effort in, 3 times more sometimes financial resources in to gain a new client versus just keeping the ones you have extremely happy. And I think when we are client or customer centric, we're always focused on developing and really building those relationships with the clients we have. So not only are we like looking to build them brand new and nurture them, like you said, I love nurturing clients, so important, right? It's not like a one and done thing. We are
Yes.
dating our clients. We are dating them, okay, right? We're bringing them on and we're like keeping them happy and we're thinking about them and we're thinking and creating time for them. We're solving their problems because their problems change as they work with us or as
Mhm.
they're with us. And we have to be thinking about that for the duration of the journey that they're with us, the whole relationship. So I think that's such a great point that you bring up.
All right, so I'm gonna switch gears a little bit just
Okay.
because I don't want anybody to see mad. They're like, you had a marketing specialist up here and you did not talk about social media content.
Oh.
We're gonna talk about it, y'all, because I know that's what people are saying. I'm sorry. Depending on when you watch this, who knows what social media will be
Oh,
available,
that is
what
true.
features will be available. Like social media changes, I feel like every moment, not even every day, like every moment, there's a new feature or a feature that's old that we can't use anymore. So we're gonna do our best here. But because you are a marketing specialist, can you give us some maybe do's and don'ts when it comes to social media marketing?
Oh my goodness. Okay, this is so good because there's so many things that we can dive into. I think when it comes to the very first thing about social media marketing, I'm just going to give a couple little things. One is I think it's so important to be consistent online. And one of the things that I mentioned to my clients first and foremost is creating like a posting schedule. And, one that I is tried and true, and I recommend this for anybody who's listening right now, is really coming up with like a 4 post Instagram schedule. You can copy this one if it's easy for you. But that idea of being consistent and showing up because the algorithm, especially on Instagram, is something that it loves to do. So first is consistency. Think about, maybe Mondays you're posting a reel, Tuesdays and Thursdays, you're doing just a general post, and then Fridays, you're doing a carousel. But the idea is that you're showing up consistently online versus it being live in your stories, but also online. So I want you to come up first with that idea of like, what is consistent and what is your bare minimum that you can commit to every week, no matter if your schedule is busy or not busy. Anything extra is gravy, but what can you do consistently? The second is, I think it's so important to hone in on your message and really understand your clients. So that is a huge one, is just really making sure that you're always solving your clients' problems. Okay. So when you have really good copy and content that speaks to your clients' biggest problems, people are going to, focus in on you, right? We want to be able to find our best clients, okay? Not necessarily have the most clients, but finding our best clients. And by doing that, it's honing in on the message. And I think that's really, really important. The other thing I just want to make note of is making sure that you are sharing and posting. So when you think about social media, it's a two-way street. Not only are you just showing up online and sharing content that's valuable, that's speaking to your clients' biggest problems and how you can solve them and the results that they can get, but also as it relates to really honing in on like sharing other people's posts, right? Saving other people's posts, engaging on other people's platforms, giving valuable content, because it is a give and take. And when we look at the algorithm, it is looking at both of those. So I think that that's really important, is really to think about the consistency, your message that's actually speaking to your ideal clients, and then also thinking about it as a two-way street. We're developing relationships with our clients, which means we have to share posts, engage, and really do that.
So you're saying we have to do work. Okay.
We do have to do some. So sorry.
Yes.
I'm not saying that right. I think there's like sometimes we just think, oh, if our post goes viral, but there's so much behind that always, right?
Yes. I agree. I'm always telling people, like, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to do work.
Yeah.
But there are some tricks. There are some tricks. There are apps that can help you schedule. But you're right, though. People, even when you use those scheduling apps, you do have to engage on those platforms.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be all time consuming. I tell people, like, hey, while you're eating breakfast, watching an episode, like, click through, comment, heart, do things like that, so that people, so the algorithm and also people that you're connecting with see that you're engaging. Like, you're putting out posts. Are you commenting to the comments that people are putting? Are you answering the questions?
Yeah.
I see that all the time. Somebody has a question about a live and it just sits there and the person never responds. It's like you've missed out on an opportunity there. So, hey.
It's so true.
But I definitely like it. I also think too, I love the idea of being consistent, because social media, just with most marketing strategies, is about the consistency. If you do it once, don't get mad because you didn't get 1,000 new subscribers. It's like, come on, guys, they only saw it once. I always tell people they're not checking for you because they're not looking for you. You ain't been there. So you have to show up consistently. And then people will say, okay, I'm excited. When is the next thing coming? And they stay ready for whatever you have that's coming out. So I love that you said consistency. So what about email marketing? Right, because that's a great part. Like, you can't just rest on social media. So what are your feelings around this idea of like email marketing? Should we send out like thousands of emails? Should we send out just one email? What are you thinking?
Oh, I love that, because I think when we think of, especially when you're starting out, I just think about, you're the sole person in your business. You're just starting out. You only have so much time. And one of the things that I really hone in on my clients, and I think this is so important, and for your audience as well, we want to think of marketing in a couple different buckets. So we have our short-term marketing strategies and tactics. We have our long-term strategies and tactics. And then we have our collaborations and referrals that we might want to start thinking about. And when you start to think about marketing across those three categories, it's easier for you to manage your time and plan where and how you want to focus on things. Sometimes I see a lot of people working on like long-term strategies, hoping for short-term benefits. And they will come, but they will take they'll take some time to cultivate. And I think of email marketing as just that. It is a long-term, strategy. It's not to say that you might not receive some short-term benefits in it, but it does take time, because we talked about nurturing. This is reason why you're doing email marketing is at the beginning is to build your community, to build a following of people who you can build trust with, that they will learn to like you, trust you, understand what you're communicating. And so that is a bit of a long-term strategy. Now, the great thing about that is once you have started to build up that list, you're able to then do launches or strategies in email in terms of frequency, and then get maybe some of those quicker conversions based on a launch that you're doing. So I want us to think about kind of email marketing in the sense that we're like, we are building a really great relationship. We're building our tribe. We're building our community. We're building this group of people that we are going to connect with always. So we want to be thinking about it like we do any relationship. So we want to be sending out those emails again on a consistent basis. And I think you really have to think about weekly. I think it's a great cadence for just like touching base and letting letting people know what you're doing and showcasing the value, or, showcasing some, great tidbits or tips and tricks. And then I think you had the other question, like, what's your frequency? And I think then we get into, after you've just sort of are building and maintaining relationships, you want to be thinking about your launch strategy. And that might be something that you would do for maybe a 2-week time, where you are sending out emails, let's say every day for 2 weeks straight. Right. And I
Mhm.
know people who send out 3 emails in one day because they have a bigger list and they want to make sure that people are seeing it, it's timely, and that they're really focused on conversion. So I think it depends on what your goals are. It depends on where you are in your business. I think also, and it depends on, based on the campaign or what you're looking to do, the frequency of that.
Yeah, I loved everything you said, because I think, just to go back to the part you said at the beginning of this part of the podcast, the idea that there are short-term and long-term strategies. And I think people just say strategy, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, there are different strategies for the different things you're doing. An event product launch is going to be very different from your monthly or
Yeah.
weekly newsletter. Telling people maybe you're going to go live and letting them know, hey, I'm about to go live. If you have collaborations, featured, if you're going to be an event, if you have a new blog post, like there are different types of email marketing and even social media marketing that depends on like when things are going to come out and for what reason. So I think that was really a great thing to talk about, because I think people are like, just throw it all out there and see what happens. I would say they're throwing it at the wall to see what sticks. It's like,
exactly. Because then
that's
they're like, but I sent out 4 emails, like no one's clicking on them, no one's buying. And we want to remind ourselves, like, we're building this relationship. We have to build this trust. And that person might be clicking on your email every day, but it might be not till 6 months from now that they decide to actually schedule the one-on-one consult with you to talk to you, right? Like, we want to be building that.
Yeah, I agree. And it's funny you mentioned nobody's buying. I actually had a client one time who would say, hey, I don't know why nobody's buying. And I went and reviewed her content. She never asked anyone to buy. She
So
never.
important. Yeah.
Yes, it's like you
Yeah.
got to tell people there should be a CTA, a call to action
Yeah.
in everything you do. It doesn't always have to be like a hard sale. It could be as simple as, hey, comment below, share with a friend, put one in the chat, whatever the case may be. But sometimes you got to tell people, hey, book a call with me today. Here's the link. If you don't say it, then people are gonna like your comment. They're gonna say something's pretty, but they're not gonna know what to do next. And so a lot of people miss out on those opportunities just because they never ask. Closed mouths don't get fed.
So true. So true. We almost get like nervous to ask. We're like, oh, we don't want to come off too pushy or, too salesy, back to that feeling of feeling like icky. But the truth is, we don't know. No one knows what we want them to do unless we actually write it out.
Exactly. And I also have come to the idea, especially because I work with people typically who are trying to make really positive impacts in the world. Like they're not selling candles or something like that. Not that candles aren't important, but because of that, I'm almost like, shame on you for not telling them how you can change their lives in a positive way. And so sometimes we have to change the idea of sales to service and say,
I love it.
you're providing a service to someone that can benefit their life, drastically change the trajectory of where they're going. Tell them, because they want to know. I promise you they want to know. And that's the key. It's not to sell them anything, it's to help them, to serve them. And so sometimes when we just change that reference in our mind, it's a lot easier just to say, hey, yeah, I see you're struggling with this. Just like if it was your friend, I see you're struggling with this. I think I can help you. This is how. And they're like, thank you for helping me. I appreciate it. And then it takes that, like, the grossness away a little bit for me.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I love that.
Definitely. So I'm so sad. Guys, if you see, I have tried to get in everything and more in this little bit of time we have here. Like, we might have to get you back because we could talk about marketing over and over again. But before we go, can you give people 3 tips? Like, they're brand new. They haven't done nothing. Can you give them 3 tips of things that they can implement now to help on their marketing journey?
Yeah. So first one is, I want you to identify your best client. Okay. So that's the first one. And remember, what we talked about today was you want to create a list of all the qualities your best client has. Like, they might be ambitious, they might be impact driven, like they might be, they might be working full-time or part-time. I want you to come up with all the amazing qualities that would be your best client. And then the second thing I want you to do, if you're not 100% sure yet, is I want you to really identify your client, your ideal client's best problems, the biggest problems that keep them up, right? Here are some questions I want you to ask yourself, like, what keeps them up at night? What is like on their mind most days? What are they wishing they're different? What is bothering them? And then based on that, I want you to tell me, how can you solve those problems and what are the results they are going to get because of that? Okay? That is so important. And then the third thing I want you to do is, based on those three things, I want you to start to think about speaking clearly and directly to your client. So think about, you only want to talk to one client at one time with one message. And I want you to really start to hone in, like, where are your best clients hanging out? Like, where do you need to be? It's so often we think that we need to be doing, what we believe is very trendy or what's happening right now in terms of marketing. But if your best client isn't on TikTok, don't worry about TikTok so much. Like, let's think about where your best clients are and how you can go and connect with them online there. So those are the three things I really want you to drill down on and really get clear on, because when you do that, you're able to show up much more confidently and clearly in your marketing, because you actually know who you're talking to and how to do that. And remember, clarity in your message and clarity in your marketing really comes from solving your client's biggest problem. So the more clear you are on that, the easier it is, really, truly, is to be able to articulate the value of what you do and how you can solve their problems.
Oh my gosh, yes, clarity. And I hope that you guys got a little bit more clarity today about what you can do to really boost up your marketing strategies. So before we go, I definitely want to allow you, if you have any closing thoughts, and then let people know also where they can work with you, how they can work with you. Because I know somebody's like, I want to work with her. Like, they got their pen and paper ready. Let them know how they can get in touch with you.
Oh, it's amazing. Well, right now you can work with me one-on-one, where I teach my clients how to book more sales calls and have your best clients coming to you through your marketing a hell yes to work with you already. So I do that by really helping my clients get really clear and confident on their marketing. So we dial in on your niche, create that irresistible offer, get super clear on your marketing, and develop a super simple and doable marketing plan that you can execute in part-time hours. So if that's something that's speaking to you right now, I invite you to come visit me on Instagram at Simone Moreau Coaching. Click the link in my bio. Let's set up a sales call and really talk about what that plan looks like for you as well. In addition to that, I also have like this a fantastic 5 steps for writing really clear marketing copy. So you're bringing in those aligned, client-centered marketing opportunities and clients. So if that's speaking to you, again, click on the link in the bio at simonemorrowcoaching.com and let's connect.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for being a guest today. Like I said, one of my favorite topics is marketing. So I know
Me too.
I was super into it, and I hope, and actually I know our audience got a lot of value out of this conversation. We definitely got to have you back. So look, we'll be talking about that later. But thank you
Awesome.
for being here, and for those of you who are listening, I hope you did enjoy this episode and you did get massive value. And if you enjoyed this episode, definitely check out all of our past episodes. And remember, we drop a new episode every single week. So until next time, guys, remember, I rock, you rock, we all rock, and we will see you next time.